Welcome to the Daily B Show with Matty B, episode 45. Business at the top, party down the bottom. Oh, can you hear me? Get my headphones in. Hang on. Hold the phone. Duck. Oh. I can hear my music in here. Can you guys hear that? I probably can't. One sec. You still had love for me, girl. Big Alley, what? Here we go. A bloody bit of 50 Cent in the background there, just for no specific reason. Here we go. Oh, didn't happen. Oh, so Al, you need to turn your phone sideways. You need to have your headphones in. I forgot to mention that. And that should work. Okay. Modern day Robin Hood in the house.
Hey.
Here he is.
Hey, how are you, mate?
Good, bro. Good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Sorry I didn't have the phone sideways. Rookie error.
No, that's okay. Oh, bro, it happens to the best of us, mate. Happens to the best of us.
All good.
Are you able to turn around so you're facing the light? Or you look like a criminal
Yeah,
that
man.
doesn't want his face to be seen. Hey, Brycey. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Okay, let's have a look. Tell me where. It's pretty
Keep
poor lighting
turning
where I'm
around.
at, actually.
The light's basically right behind you by the looks of it. Is it?
Yeah. I don't have another table. Hang on. Let's have a look. What can we do? We can always improvise.
There. Is that pretty face I've been waiting to see?
Need a chair, man. Need to get myself. I was all set up just before.
I know,
like
right?
A criminal.
Happens to the best of us.
I'll just. Shit, that chair's a bit wobbly.
Fits.
Just grab me water. Hang 5.
Do it.
Righto.
No rush. Everything in divine timing.
Correct. Right. Let's just get myself in
modern day Robin Hood.
Exactly. It's too high.
That's better. Sounds like my New Year's Eve. Too high.
Really? What did we do for New Year's Eve?
I did fuck all. I hung out with a couple of boys down in my hometown and just had a bit of a chuff and did not a whole lot. Not a great deal really.
Okay.
How about yourself?
Mate, I think I was asleep by about 11:30.
Yeah.
Had an early night.
Missed the fireworks, mate.
Yeah. No photos. How's that? That's a bit better.
That's it. There we go.
Right. Awesome.
Beautiful.
We're on. Game
I feel like I'm the manager and I'm scolding you and you're sitting down in a seat that's below my height, looking up at me.
Yeah, it was interesting. Last night there was a post about that. Actually, it's a social thing. Those that sit on high chairs get more views than those that sit on low chairs.
No, I gotta put down here. All right, now we can talk.
Oh, Christ! Now I feel like I'm being interviewed for a job.
Cool, man. Cool. So, mate, just to kick it off, for those that don't know who you are, where have they been to start with? But can you give us a bit of a quick intro, mate, of who is Al and where you're from, what you do?
Yeah, right. Cool. Okay, who is Al? Where am I from? Originally born in New Zealand many moons ago. Brought up in Otago, home of rugby, down in the south near Dunedin, little place called Oamaru. A small town, all family, very tight, close around.
How small?
13,000 people.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from down Melbourne North. Is about 7,000, about half of that, maybe a little bit less.
Right. Yeah. So you get the tightness of those communities, and all aunties and uncles live within. Yeah, pretty well. Aunties and uncles live within about an hour's radius. So I had 13 cousins when I was growing up. Very tight knit community. Fly fishing when I was 7, 8 years old. Snow skiing, water skiing, the great outdoors. So from there, I moved to Australia, moved to Sydney, finished school at Manly Boys High in 1980 something, 87. Then I got into construction, worked on, at that stage, the largest steel structure building in the Southern Hemisphere, building called the Bond Building for one of our famous tycoons, Mr. Alan Bond.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I got put through a traineeship there. And then I embarked on a bit of a career within the cranes and rigging industry. Took me a lot of places. Travelled overseas for a while. Lived in Scotland for a year, lived in Greece for a year. Got my offshore training in Scotland. Worked as a chef in Greece. Always been a good cook, man. So
beautiful. I look forward to getting fed.
Yeah, definitely. Come up. We'll go out and catch some barra when you help me fix my boat, and we'll have a feed. So from there, I come to Darwin and got back into the heavy industrial gig in quite a big way. Worked offshore for about 7 years on oil and gas facilities, drilling, construction, production, all the rest of it. Went away mining. Lived in a mining town for 7 years. So that time gained a lot of wealth of experience, and I kind of got stagnant where I was at. If I wanted to go any further, the direction wasn't luring me. So I got into training. The superintendent that I had looking after me was a great guy, and he put me into a sort of minor training role and health safety role. So from there, I jumped at that, took that opportunity, and then from there I got into training in a bit of a better way. And since then, I've established a registered training organisation in Darwin. We do a lot of industrial training, safety management. I find it very rewarding. So for me, it's a rewarding industry. You're seeing the outcome of all your knowledge over those years bundled into a day or two, and somebody takes a part of that with them, and they go off and their life starts from that, from there on. So it's a rewarding industry, challenging,
really
rewarding.
Gives you the opportunity to leave a legacy with everyone, like you sort of like dropping a pebble into the ocean and just sort of ripple effect that far.
Correct. And we deal with a lot of different things: language and literacy, numeracy, which is a problem in a lot of places. It's challenging, but like I say, it's very rewarding when you see it all start to fall into place. It's great, and we're in a good place. So I've also got a little a business in Indonesia, in Borneo, Kalimantan, the home of the orangutan and the wild west of Indo. So that
what's happening there?
Okay, well, that business there, we started off, it was a general supply business to the mining industry. And we kicked it off pretty well when the bell was rung that the GFC was at its worst point, which was challenging at the time. So what we do, definitely. What we do is basically supply anything. So import, export within Indo. We're doing a coal contract to Vietnam at the moment to a power station. We're doing procurement for an Aussie company called Orica, who do a lot of explosives in the mining. We'll supply sea containers. We're doing a bit of an eco business as well, which we recycle air filters. So off all the heavy machinery, the air filters come in, they get washed, they get brought back to an as new state, and then they get sold back to the companies for X percentage of RRP. So it's saving a lot of waste, and it's a real green sort of thing. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
And yeah, I've stumbled across another opportunity over there, which I'll talk to you about shortly.
Yes, you have. Yeah, it's very exciting. And I guess before we go there, actually, first of all, can you hear the that fluttering noise as well? I'm wondering if that's my fan here that's making that. Can you hear that?
I can't hear it, mate, no.
I think it might be my fan. Anyway, let me know if you guys are hearing that as well, but if you aren't, that's fine. I wanted to ask, yeah, and we spoke about this a little bit earlier, but for you to open up a bit on what are some of the challenges that you've really had to face in a bit more detail, and what was the journey you went through that led you to where you are now, and the inspiration to actually start opening up and doing these projects that are rather humanitarian. They've got obviously they're for-profit businesses, but they're very much based around helping others and looking on a global scale to really impact the world in a really positive way. Like how did this come about, and why do you feel like this has been your calling and drawing you into that direction?
Great question, and I guess I could say, well, I went to a trade show in Indonesia, and when I was there, I saw a lot of people walking around, shaking everyone's hands, and then I stayed on for a little bit longer, and all the hype died away, and the people I saw who were at the trade show just kind of lost their mojo, I guess, a little bit. I was lucky because cool. I was lucky because I had a friend who his wife's sister was living there, so we got to have a look around, and one thing I noticed that with that region, there's a lot of poverty. That people are, $180, $200 a month salary, and people are living on that. And one thing that I noticed is they're bloody happy. Everyone's happy and everyone groups together and they're smiling, man. Like they've got nothing and they're smiling and they're happy. So from there, I had a bit of a venture in Java, and I've closed that out now. But I went up to a couple of regions there, and I saw abject poverty, and what I saw was a lot of people in small areas who have got products to sell, and they're getting paid $1 for them, and they're doing the Woolworths thing, right? Woolworths are getting $10, and these people are struggling to buy eggs for their family. So I sort of thought I need to get involved in that and try and make a bit of a change. So I was talking to a friend who I met over the years, and he had an app on his phone, and I was sitting down there having a juice because he doesn't drink. He's a Muslim person. He doesn't drink at all. So not that matters anything. And he showed me this app, and he can book airfares for people, right? So if I texted him now and need an airfare from Darwin to Sydney, he could book that for me, and it wouldn't cost me any more than the airfare on the website. He would get a kickback from the corporates. And then he went a little bit more into it, and he explained to me that there's a group of people in his region that all give him their power money, and he goes to the local Circle K, and he pays that power money to Circle K. So if you give me $100, your power bill's $100. I give Circle K $100, and the power company gives me a commission back from it. So it's sort of a reversal corporate for what we see in Australia, that they actually reward people for being proactive. And also the telcos are phenomenal at it. So let's say you're struggling there with some internet data. I've got an app on my phone. I can say that you can say, hey, Al, I need 5 gigabyte worth of data. I can transfer that data straight to you. So sort of seen an opportunity there to be able to combine all of these, and let's think of regions. One person may grow coffee, one person may grow cloves, one person may raise goats, one person may have bok choy, right? All of these people have the same app, and it's interlinked into one, and it becomes a cooperative. So these people then can sell their product on that one app to the buyers. They're going to get a higher price. It's phenomenal, mate. It's an amazing thing.
True. And so what are you predicting that the profits or that they'd be able to sell? If they're selling, for example, something that Woolworths is selling for $10, they're selling for $1. What do you think that the power of a cooperative like that would have on, like obviously, just a general idea for something like that?
Challenging question, Matt. It would depend on the scale of that region and of that area. But if you had a central location that was controlled, you would think at least they'd be doubling their incoming. You'd have to.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. So okay, look, the corporates are still going to make a big killing off it, but we're talking fruit and veg here. But when you're talking the power and the airfares and all the rest of it, there's no on cost to the user. So that's where it's really at. Like the farming side of it is a real humanitarian thing that we could really push, and that there's sort of the helping people into sustenance, and then from there what they do is they do the cooperative where they have 2 or 3 people who do the power bill, and all families get together, and I've got 10 siblings, they all give me their money to pay their power bill. All of a sudden I've got an extra $10. That $10 then gets distributed back to the families. That's sort of how I envisage it to work.
So it's sort of a mix between like what they're actually producing on farms and on their land, mixed with the essential services that just people need to use and are using on a regular basis anyway. And my understanding what you're saying before is the corporates that have the capacity to tap into deals with other companies, it's actually like these guys are passing down the savings and actually helping the poor in that region rise up at no extra cost and no detriment to themselves. So hence where we came up with the modern day Robin Hood. Instead of stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, we're tapping into the wealthy in the regions and getting them to collaborate with the wealthy to help them rise up and pull them up to that same level.
Yeah, that's correct. And for a developing nation, it's critical that happens, that the middle class has to grow. You've got an economy that's almost going gangbusters, and within 7 years predicted to be the world's 6th or 7th strongest economy. It's only 2 hours away from where we are. So the flow of money is starting to happen, and China's done what it's done. Someone needs to take it up. So it's an interesting concept. Yeah, man, it's great. So we're trying to work out how to really tie it all together and get those cooperatives. So I can be the cooperative for a region here and have 40, 50, 100, 200,000 people feeding into that one cooperative where I'm not the corporate, and they're getting paid from the corporate. I'm just facilitating it, and I get a clip from the corporate for helping them do that. It's
more of it's like
it's real
being
life.
A connector, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And the way I see it, it's almost like they're using it's almost like a cryptocurrency kind of methodology and blockchain that they're actually using. It's phenomenal, mate. We're actually really behind in that technology in Australia to be able to do these things.
There's a few people that are sort of clicked onto it, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't even know about, which is full on. And I'm definitely not up with the speed and savvy with it. But when I chat to a few folks that know what's going on and they open up, it blows your freaking mind.
Yeah, it does, man. The one app, and I'm happy to share it. There's one app called OVO. It's OVO. And that one there is what people use for the utilities and for their phone and for their power and for general as well. If you need $100, I'll just transfer you $100. It doesn't cost me anything. There's no bank fees. There's no charges. It's an amazing technology.
Beautiful. Okay, yeah, there you go. OVO. And
OVO.
I want to touch on as well, like you brought up before when we were chatting before this that sort of a bit standoffish to the fact that it would be a for-profit business, but I think there's just like a testament to how big your heart is. Like you're so focused on helping people that there's still sort of almost defining the profit and taking profit as being almost a negative in a sense. But then like along further discussing that, just really chatting about how for us to have the greatest impact on the world and to be able to impact the greatest amount of people, it does take finances, it does take commerce, and it does take manpower, and it does take time and effort and energy and all that put together to be able to impact a wider community and a wider array of people. So I think, and a reason I bring that up is because there's a lot of people, a lot of clients I speak to, a lot of people that I speak to who still, even just offering their worth and getting in touch with the value that they're offering, they struggle to really communicate that and really own it as well. And I've gone through that process just not too long ago as well. It is just really owning our own value and what we're delivering and accepting that and learning to receive as well as give. And so
Correct.
I just wanted to bring that up because you got a big fucking heart, man. And when we're helping hundreds of thousands of people, it's only fair that, you know, that the energy is equally exchanged in both directions.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, mate. And that's where we've got to get it to. And sort of the ambition is once in the infantile stages, it's I'm not going to say non-for-profit, but it's basically covering its expense and covering its growth and expansion. But the expenses are very minimal. The expenses are marketing and getting the message out there. So it's more a lifestyle expense than it is a business expense in that sort of sense of it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And so will this tie into what you're doing with the training organization as well in any capacity, or completely separate?
Completely separate. Yeah, it's a separate entity. Yeah. We are. I'm looking at a project at the moment, and that's. I had a meeting yesterday afternoon with a lady. She's got placement for 200 aged care workers. So the Skills Migration Act and the skills shortage highlights designated industries that there is skill shortages in, and aged care is one of them. So that there is a big demand for aged care. There's hospitality as well. Certificate 3 level hospitality is, believe it or not, skill shortage. So the bigger clients are wanting trained, qualified people who are going to stay. There's no shortage of people who can pour a beer. There's a shortage of people who want to stay. So people from developing nations want to stay because, as I said earlier, abject poverty. Everybody in that region knows someone who has abject poverty. So if one of their family members comes here and works for 50, 70 grand a year, they're going to help out a whole community, and that growth's going to just blow up like that. So we're involved in looking into 3 projects in that regard. So one of them's for 200 aged care people. There's another area they want to bring 2,000 people per annum to Australia to train and educate in Certificate 3 hospitality. And the Australian federal government and the Indonesian government are going to sponsor all of that. And that's going to be direct work placements for these people. So it's full on, mate. That's the training side of it. The other, the app side's just a project that I really want to push hard. The training will happen naturally. I've got that under control, but
beautiful.
I'm not that tech savvy with the apps. So
there's plenty of people that are, mate. That's all right. We'll use their knowledge and their skills to do it all ourselves.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, no, it's an interesting journey.
Yeah, man. And can you paint for me really big picture, like what you're really seeing, given everything goes right, the ducks are aligned, this goes well, like what is your big picture that you're really working towards, or the big vision you see?
Okay, well, some of the meetings I've had over the last year, there's 10,000 people looking 10,000 potential candidates to be trained to Australian qualifications in hospitality level training. There's, sorry, I'm looking away. I'm just trying to mentally recoup the figures. There's about 6,000 or 8,000 nursing opportunities, and there's about 5,000 odd aged care workers as well. There's also potential for security, personal bodyguards, and all the rest of it. That's with the training side of it. With the app, growing that one, I don't know, man. The numbers are limitless, eh? It's how quick people embrace it and talk to their friends, and get them on board. It's not a pyramidical scheme. It's a scheme where everyone benefits. So going back to my youth as a kid in New Zealand, having that tight family relationship, and that's how Southeast Asia works. If you've got the opportunity for one person to be able to get that little bit extra coming in, that's going to snowball, and it'll keep rolling on the community. So I don't know, how many people are there, mate? 260 million people. If tap into 1% of that, you're doing well, aren't you?
Yeah, true. Very true.
You know, there's more millionaires than people in the country, so if you tapped into 1%, you'd be doing extremely well. Let's look at 0.01%.
That blew my mind when you said that.
Yeah, man. It's phenomenal, eh?
More millionaires in Asia. Or in where? In Asia.
Indo.
Than in Indonesia. So more millionaires in Indonesia than the population of Australia.
Correct. There's a lot of money floating around that joint. No, but the classes are like this. So
so it's about tapping into that top.
Bring them up. We need to bring those lower ones up, and the way we bring them up is by that education on how we can help each other and feed off the corporates, man.
Yeah, mate. I mean, you're going to have a statue built after you. Proper one.
I'm
going to engrave my name in the foot.
Yeah, no worries,
Matt
mate. So long as I'm still around to see it, it's all good, you know. But
That's cool, look,
I'm talking to another guy that you know as well, and trying to work out. Let's put this all together and do a bit of a trip and promote it pretty hard. And how I'd like to promote it would be to the I hate using the word class because it grates my bones, but I'd like to promote it to the wealthier class people, so that they can see the benefit, so that they can filter that down to the people with less money, and that growth would come a lot quicker that way. You need to target the people who've got the money, who can say to their relatives, hey, look, if you just do this and this and that, you can have an extra $20 a week, because that's all it takes. $20 a week's a lot of money. Yeah. It buys you a couple of chooks, it buys you 2 or 3 dozen eggs, can buy 4 kilos of rice. You know, a family could eat on that. So if you've got 2 or 3 or 4 people in one village bringing that extra in, all of a sudden that wealth and opportunity starts to rise with it. So
I think what I've found in running the foundation over here as well is that so many people they just don't have that perspective of how much such a small amount with what we're used to can go, like how far that can go in these types of countries. Like they think $5, $10, $20, like you throw that away on 2 pots of beer and a pack of chips, you know, like without even thinking, or a cup of coffee and a toasty. But that could feed a family for a week.
That's right, man. That's exactly right. You'll tip the waiter $20 and you won't give the guy on the street $1 to bloody get a bus, you know. It's true.
Makes so much sense. I know, it's full on.
The thing is, though, in Australia, we're very blessed and we're very lucky. Like, no one really, I shouldn't say no one, but we've got a good social security system that does function. Positives and negatives to it. Developing nations don't have it, so they need to be active. They need to be working out ways how to make money. So that's the key difference, I believe, between here and there.
True. Yeah,
it's survival, mate.
I was going to say a little bit dirty. I was going to say they don't get $1,500 speeding fines though over there, so that's one positive that they've got on us.
Yeah, well, that's true. $1,500.
Yeah, that's my bad. I'll take responsibility for that.
That's expensive.
I was winning. Nah.
Yeah, it sucks when you're in a drag race and they throw the lights on at the end, eh?
I was driving Uber at the time, and I got a call from them saying, "Hey Matt, we've got a fine here for $5,500 for you." Like, what the fuck? And then they said, yeah, because it's what I found out later on was because it's in a corporate name, the car, they don't add points to it, so it's like double or triple the amount that what it usually is. Yeah. But when they put it into my name, it dropped it down and got me the point. So it was, $1,500 or something.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's not the call you want to get.
No, it's not, man. It's interesting you say that. I did some work in the prisons up here, educational work as well, which was bloody rewarding, to be honest with you. And a lot of people, you used to be able to go and spend a few days inside and pay your fines off. They don't do that anymore. So what happened? Yeah, the fines stay current. So you'll get locked up for not paying your fines, and you'll get out, and then you'll have to pay your fines. So there's a lot of people in the NT basically sitting in jail continuously because they can't afford to pay their fines. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah, it's horrible, mate. I met some pretty cool people in jail who are sitting there because they can't afford to pay their fines, and they go to jail, they get out of jail, and it's try to regroup. And the last thing on their mind, honestly, is paying a fine. It's trying to find somewhere to live and build back up again. And then they bloody don't pay it within X amount of time, and they get a warrant, and all of a sudden back to jail again for another 3 months or a week or two or whatever. Crazy, man.
Like you said, positives and negatives everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, man. There is. So yeah,
I need to pay some fines.
So yeah, that's my little sort of plan and strategy.
Is there a message that you'd like to deliver people? Something that you find yourself just writing home about, or something that sort of frustrates you that you'd really like to just shake people about, or any sort of message you'd like to deliver to everyone as a final note?
You can achieve a lot work together, eh? People working cooperatively together can achieve an awful lot. Even in business, there's competition, but if you're a non-compete and you can work together, you can achieve bloody good things. And it's time we all give a little bit back, you know. We're very lucky, we're very blessed in this country. We need to give a little back, and we need to support our neighbours a little bit, I believe. Seeing abject poverty and how people survive is a bit of a touchy point, and we can all help, man. Every dollar makes a difference, eh? Every dollar makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
But on the flip side, you got to be careful too, because you can also be seen as a walking cash cow as well. So
yeah, and that's I think something that I've noticed with again working with these guys in Uganda and the foundation is that when you start looking outside of yourself in that sense, it's endless.
Yeah,
it can be very overwhelming. And for me, the way I sort of settled my nerves in that sense was just really say that I'm not here to save anyone. I'm just here to be an example for people. And it really it didn't really matter where I put my time and effort. I decided to put it towards my time and resources towards what really came to me and what it was attracted to me. And what felt right, there was just a harmony to all the things the directions I went, just like our meeting and the connection that we've made. And then you sort of just us being aligned in certain values, right? It just feels right to explore this path with you. So there's no effort involved. It's not about trying to force something down. And just in doing that, it's just setting the example for people that hopefully, and I've already seen it. It didn't take long. I've already seen multiple of my friends go out to different charities, go to different organizations, and donate their time or resources in separate ways, because it is just that example you're setting, and it's really fucking cool to see when you see that flow-on effect in your network.
You look at Bill Gates, you know, the Bill Gates Foundation, and Richard Branson, and all of these influences in our world. You look at what they've achieved, and they all say the same thing: start micro, get lots of micro. And you mentioned Uganda, Africa. Micro businesses work in those regions. You need these little micro businesses with people that can feed off each other and benefit. Have you been to Uganda?
No, not yet. No. Looking. Hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be kicking over there maybe towards the end of the year. Mission is to raise $50,000 to build some, to buy them a block of land and to build dormitories for the boys and the girls, and a place for them to learn and do schooling there as well, and basically have their own well and their own gardens and their own food as well that they can do there. So they're just literally rented out this tiny little hut at the moment that they're all squished into, and traveling a long way for their water and for their schooling, and it's a pretty rough environment. So it's just a matter of just raising capital and sustaining them, keeping them going in the meantime, and then raising funds so we can go and build a block of land and buy a block of land and build that for them. And I can see that just being the first of many opportunities like that, where we can just bring sort of safety and shelter and food and education and love to a lot of kids in a lot of people's homes and lives that otherwise just wouldn't have it, or struggle and feel unsafe otherwise.
Yeah, nice, man. That's cool. Sounds like we're on the same journey, different regions, but the same path, mate, you know, and who knows, they can all cross over, because we live in a digital world, so why not?
Oh, bro. We all live
Absolutely,
in the world. We're all ants on an anthill, mate. We've got nowhere to go.
Yeah, man.
So we might as well start working together. I'm all for the united world, bro. # united world.
I love it, man. Yeah, no, you're right, mate. Cool, you're right. That's cool. I'll talk to you more personally about the foundation you're involved in. I didn't even know about it, so I haven't.
Yeah, cool. No, don't speak it too much.
No.
Hey,
that's cool.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out, man. And Pleasure. Thanks for opening up and sharing. It's really interesting what you guys are doing as well, and I'm stoked to see what comes of it this year. Yeah, well, like I said to you the other day, we'll announce some dates soon, and we'll see what we can't do, eh? Come along for the journey, man. Rock and roll. Absolutely. All right, brother.
Cool.
Take it easy.
Good talking
watching,
to you, mate.
Guys. Let us know if you're watching the replay, and share with your friends. We'll see you all soon. See ya.
Roger.